Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. Man, that feels good to say. I'm Jay Zawaski here with Greg Boysen. We are presented, as always, by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up, and you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. The Hawks lose 4-1 in their preseason opener to the Blues. They were competitive. They were probably the better team for 60 minutes. And if this is how every game goes this season, Greg, that is a win for the Blackhawks because they're going to be tanking. They don't want wins. They want losses, but competitive losses, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. We're going to break it all down. Mario Tirabassi is at the United Center. He'll hear from Blackhawks players and Luke Richardson after the game, and will join us with all that news. So quick takeaways, Greg. I'll let you have the floor first, but there was I would say probably more good than bad in this one, despite the final score. If you just pick up the newspaper in the morning and see the score, you're going to go, well, here we go again. But for the most part, the Hawks played pretty well.
What's a newspaper?
It's this thing. We will have to explain it to Mario at some point.
I mean, I do know. I think half of our audience has no idea what Steven might not even know what a newspaper is.
Yeah.
I think my dad used to use one of those.
Yeah. It used to swat you in the back of the head when you weren't paying attention with them.
Yep.
Yeah, this is, I think, how a lot of Blackhawks games are going to go this year. They're there. They're competitive. They're right there. And in the third period, one of their subpar goalies is going to let in a couple of lousy goals, and then you're going to lose. And that's
fine.
Kind of exactly what they want to happen.
It's funny when we were thinking about like the offseason's going out, we're seeing the free agent signings come in. When the Alex Stalock one came in, that to me was like the tankiest of the tank moves. And I like Alex Stalock. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But after everything he's been through, missing a whole season with myocarditis after COVID, he's just not probably an NHL goalie for most teams right now. But you bring in a good locker room guy who's going to help you fall in the standings, and that's what's going to like. Jay says in the chat, start Stalock for 82 games. That's
stretching it a little bit. 70 is fine.
We got to at least pretend they're trying.
Yeah. As you said, Alex Stalock, really good dude. That's not a secret. He took some time and explained his goalie mask design for us after practice, which you'll be seeing on social media soon, maybe.
Sure.
Hopefully. But yeah,
82 games plus 5 more preseason games. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, but not fantastic. 3 power play goals given up and 3 relatively easy power play goals. The PK needs some work, but it's a preseason game, first preseason game. A lot of the guys that are on the ice tonight, we're not going to see after Wednesday.
Yeah,
Thursday is probably going to be a big roster cut day. A lot of these guys will be back to their junior teams, heading over to the Ice Hogs side of training camp. The Ice Hogs are actually holding training camp here at the Fifth Third Arena as well. So they'll probably just shift over to the other rink and practice there. As you said earlier, there's a lot more positive things than bad things. And this is what we got to look for.
Right.
Ignore the score. They outshot the Blues. There were stretches of this game that they were the better team, sustained offensive zone. Here's the thing, my biggest takeaway before we get into specific players. This team, for the first time in 4 years, looked organized. They looked calm. They didn't look like they were just running all over the ice. They looked like a team that knew where they were supposed to be, and for the most part, were there for the majority of the night. That's all I want to see. The simplified approach that Luke Richardson has been taking throughout training camp, you saw it tonight. You saw a more organized team that looked better prepared, looked like nothing really caught them off guard. Mm-hmm. There was no mass chaos, no serious confusion out there.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to see. That's what we saw. It's not that hard.
Right. There were no moments in the game where we were like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? It looked like normal hockey.
Right.
And it sounds like, I always hear Bears fans say this, like, why can't we just be normal? Why can't it just be a normal effing game where we don't look like clowns half the time? The Hawks haven't had that for a while, really since Joe Quenneville was fired, because Derek King came in and really kind of had to just try to do what he could on the fly to make Jeremy Colleton's system a little more palatable, but he couldn't just go revamp the entire thing. Now Richardson gets a whole offseason. Every player we've spoken to has used the word simple.
Yeah.
It is simple and it's logical and it allows you to be more creative and play your game and use your instincts as opposed to having to be thinking all the time. It just looks normal. And I do want to get into some of the individual performances tonight. Andreas Athanasiou gave you the entire experience tonight, yes, showing you the speed, showing you the hands, showing you the lack of finish. And that's what has prevented him, that and injuries, is what's prevented Athanasiou from becoming like a star player in this league, because he just doesn't have the finish to his scoring.
There's a lot of Victor Stahlberg in his game.
Yes, he's not quite as handsome.
It's like he's still a pretty good looking guy. You know,
no one's Victor Stahlberg. Sorry.
No one is Victor Stahlberg.
On my list.
Thank God.
What?
That's Blackhawks After Dark. Which hopefully they never allow us to have.
No, that would be bad.
But yeah, he's got that like, holy crap, this guy is a star.
There were 3 or 4 ooh or ah moments from him tonight.
And then he gets to within 5 feet of the net, and you're like, oh that's why he was available for a 1-year contract. Got it. Yeah. But listen, get a little finish, get that trade value up.
Yeah.
One of the big free agent signings is Max Domi.
Yep.
Very noticeable on the ice. No shots on goal. That's a problem.
Ended with 1, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, with like 2 minutes in the game, he had no shots on goal.
Which is weird because it felt like he was
some
more.
attempts.
Yeah. He felt like he was more involved in the game than the score sheet showed.
But what were his final face-off numbers? Very impressive.
12 wins, 5 losses, 71% from the dot.
Okay, then.
For Max Domi.
So,
I'm not going to steal your joke. I'll let you.
Oh, right. When Jay gave me the numbers while we were at the game for the first 2 periods, made the long trek back to the studio 3 blocks away.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Third period. And he read me off his face-off numbers and said, man, Max Domi has already won more face-offs than Kirby Dach did in 3 years with the Hawks in 1 preseason game. And I bet you I'm not that far off.
No, I don't think you are.
Low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to take it.
Yeah, of course. We'll take it. We're not above that.
Preseason for us, too. You know?
Absolutely.
Got to get our reps in.
I got a comment in the chat from Raphael, and he says, kind of like, besides the PK, the defense was solid. The team played well 5-on-5. I'll even say this, like, yes, they gave up a bunch of power play goals, but it's not like the structure was a disaster.
Right.
There were some soft goals given up, and it is what it is. But just overall, I'm pleased with what we saw in this game. Like, considering it's not your full NHL team, there's a lot of kids who are playing their first ever shifts on NHL ice in this game, and some of them looked really good. Somehow we've gotten this far in the show and not mentioned Kevin Korchinski, who continues to show what Kyle Davidson wanted when he made that trade of Alex DeBrincat to get Kevin Korchinski in that spot. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I think that he's already one of the Hawks' 6 defensemen. I don't want him to make the team this year. No. Go back to junior, dominate, win all the awards, win a championship, and then we'll reevaluate after this season or next. There's no need to rush him.
Right.
But 2 or 3 times in this game, he activated, crashed the net, looking for a scoring chance. And the play that stood out to me the most, and it was a little thing. First period, he's playing lefty. Connor Murphy's on the right-hand side. Murphy's at the point. The puck bounces away from Murphy, gets in a little bit of trouble. Korchinski sees it right away, cuts over from the left point with speed, bails out Murphy, comes and gets the puck before the Blues player can retrieve it. The Hawks maintain possession. Korchinski gets a shot on goal moments later. That's it. Like it's those things you're looking for. Yes, you can see the speed, you can see the stick handling, but it's the instinct. The instinct is the thing that makes the difference, right? Like all of these guys can play and can skate and can shoot. It's the guys that have those instincts and those intangibles that can't really be taught. And Korchinski has shown that everything we've seen him do has been impressive. But to me, that little play, more than activating, more than, stopping an odd man rush, whatever, that little recognition play where most young players would say, I'm just going to stay home and hope I don't make a mistake. No, Korchinski knew I can get there, and he got there and he made the right play. It was terrific. That to me, if we could play highlights on this show, I would play that over and over and over again to illustrate just how instinctual he plays. And when you combine that with the speed and the shot and all the the measurables for Korchinski, I'm really excited about it. And look, if you watched our draft show and that pick was made, we were all kind of like, that's a little soon. It felt a little soon for Korchinski, but look,
not now.
If Davidson believes that much, great. It's just I have been, I don't want to say blown away. That's probably overstating it, but I have been really, really pleased with everything we've seen from Korchinski so far, and he looks ahead of schedule.
It's one week of training camp, one preseason game,
yeah,
so it's not right. We're not going to clear out his. We're not going to make space for that 55 banner up in the rafters just yet, but. Man, I mean, he doesn't look lost. He doesn't look overwhelmed. There were a couple plays. One in the first period, he was behind the net, kind of on an island, getting pressured by a forecheck, and just calmly got the puck up the ice and out the zone. Nothing looks too fast for him. And for a kid at that age to get at the NHL speed immediately and not look like, oh my God, this is way too the game. He plays the game at a slow down pace, that you see the elite players, the elite defensemen play at.
Yep,
he's already got that. That's exciting. We had a question earlier in the chat, Nate, if he'd be more beneficial for him to play in Rockford over juniors. He cannot play in the AHL this year. You have to be 20 years old by, I believe, like December of this year. I believe that is the rule. You have to be 20 by the end of the calendar year, or maybe it's even earlier than that. Maybe I don't know what it is, but he's not old enough.
Same with Ethan Del Mastro.
Yes.
Same with Frank Nazar, obviously.
If you're 19 at the start, you have to turn 20 by the end of the calendar year in order to play in AHL. They have an agreement with the CHL that teenagers cannot play in the AHL unless you're from Europe, or not a CHL player. So it's a dumb rule, but that it is what it is. But I think Korchinski being big fish in a little pond will be fine. Let him go and get all that confidence. Let him come in here at the end of the year with some swagger. At the end of the year, he's already signed to an ECHL, so you don't need to worry about that. So you bring him in. Maybe you give him 3 or 4 games at the NHL level after the WHL season is over. Or you put him in Rockford. Maybe let him play in the Calder Cup playoffs.
Sure,
it's it's exciting. I'm the pump your brakes guys usually.
Nate is not. Nate in the chat says, "Oh man, if Korch can become our Makar." Who says no? Let's slow down.
Again, I'm usually the pump the brakes guy. I was just going to say, it's okay to be excited about him and not that excited.
Kevin Korchinski's in the Hawks dressing room like, no, stop talking. Don't put those expectations on me.
Makar is a different breed of cat. But yeah, so we had a lot of comments in the chat about your guy,
my guy,
Savoie.
Savoie, yep.
He was definitely a difference maker out there. I mean, seriously, if you change his 7 to a 5, you would think Andrew Shaw was out there just doing all those types of things. But hey, his greatest accomplishment tonight was getting a goal erased off the board by having a Blues guy grab his stick in the bench. He's already
finish a check, put a Blues player halfway into the bench, and then to retaliate, Luke Shen grabbed his stick and held it so Savoie could knock it back into the shift, negating a St. Louis Blues goal. I called on Twitter today, Savoie is Andrew Shaw with rabies. He's got to just rein it in a little bit.
And he will.
Every play he's looking to fight and scrap. And I know he's trying to make an impression.
And this is probably his only NHL game this year. He's probably going back to juniors Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get his money's worth. And he did. Maybe he plays again tomorrow just because, hey, that was a lot of fun watching him go out there and play again.
He needs. I'll say, like, jokes aside, like, I know I love the guy, adopted the kid, whatever. I'll take him home.
He had a pink suit on.
I'll be his billet family if he needs one. But he needs to add a step or two of speed.
Yeah.
I want to see him be a little more calm with the puck. He seems to kind of handle like a hand grenade now and again. Those are the things that come with time. And when we talk about patience with prospects, that's what we're talking about. Savoie was a third round. Yeah, I think a third round pick.
At least, yeah.
Just take your time with him. Let him play in junior. Bring him up to Rockford. Give him a year or two in Rockford.
He's 2-3 years away before he even really make a consideration. But he was a lot of fun to watch out there. He got his money's worth in probably his only NHL preseason game of the year. He's going to go back to juniors. And, he could be a fun guy. He's going to be a super popular player. When he gets to Rockford, they're going to love him there. When he gets here on a permanent level, he's going to be a fan favorite. Chicago sports fans just fall in love with guys like that. The undersized, gritty, try hard.
That he is that.
Punch you in the mouth,
Yeah.
Second the ref turns, he's slashing your ankles.
He's got the toothless Dustin from Stranger Things grin too.
You know who he looks like? He looks like the older brother in Home Alone.
Oh, Buzz.
He's got that, and he's
not Samuel, your girlfriend. Woof.
He's not as big as Buzz. I think Buzz even in Home Alone was bigger.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's got that just that shit-eating grin.
Oh, he loves it. But even okay, I was thinking about this driving in today because why not? It's hockey day. Like that is another we talked about Kevin Korchinski's intelligence in his hockey sense. The want to be that kind of a player is not something you can teach someone to do. Oh. Savoie relishes it. He loves, you talk about Andrew Shaw, Brad Marchand loves being a penis on the ice. It's his favorite thing. He's a great hockey player, but when Brad Marchand retires, people are going to remember him as a verified pudwack, not as the spectacular hockey player he was, because he loves it. And all those guys who played that way, you think about all the instant, Theo Fleury was another guy who, spectacular hockey player, pain in the ass.
The Neanderthal gene.
Yes.
They're born with the Neanderthal gene. You can't coach that. You have to what? Savoie is the type of guy that if he played football, he'd be the guy on the kick off team that just breaks the wedge and
doesn't want to wear a helmet.
Yeah, he's just, man, you don't find those guys a lot. You can find the guys that can play tough, but to just relish that role of pushing guys' buttons. And the guy's been in the NHL for 9 minutes, and guys are grabbing his stick on the opposing bench.
Yeah, they already hate him.
Enough of this little pudwack.
The Blues hate him already.
When you can get under Braden Shen, a veteran.
I said Luke earlier. Sorry. I get my Shens mixed up. Whatever.
One plays for the Blues and the other, I don't know. Whatever. I don't care if I offend the Shen family. But if you're getting a veteran player who's a Stanley Cup winner, you're getting under his skin in half a period of a preseason game, you're accomplishing something.
Yeah. We should talk about Alex Vlasic, too, and Nate brings it up in the chat. He says, Vlasic showed good passing, vision, discipline, laid a couple of big responsible hits, took away some shooting lanes, pretty responsible in his own end, not flashy, very solid. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
And as we handicap this defenseman race for the prospects, I think Alex Vlasic is clearly in their plans to make the NHL team. He's paired with Seth Jones. He finished the year that way. He's wearing the A at prospects camp. I just feel like he is sort of penciled in to an opening night spot.
I think so. I said early, before camp started, I wouldn't be ready to just hand him that spot. But from what I've seen, the way he played tonight, we still have a lot of time. We still haven't seen any other of the young defensemen that actually have a chance.
Yeah, I really want to see Isaac Phillips. We didn't get to see Phillips in the developmental tournament.
So we got Phillips still gets to play, and Regula hasn't played yet. So, Korchinski and Del Mastro are out there. Though that was their one game before they go back to juniors. So we'll see those other guys tomorrow, which is a game that could be a little more interesting because those guys aren't going to have the benefit of a Seth Jones or a Connor Murphy on the ice with them. So they may actually have to do more things on the ice. But Vlasic was good. Looked the part. There were a couple passes that he made kind of through the middle of the ice that made me a little itchy. Fortunately, they got through. Those aren't passes I want him to start falling in love with.
Yeah.
Again, it's a preseason game, so guys, you're going to get away with that stuff a little more. But, when you're playing in a tight game in a regular season against a team with some speed and some awareness, those are the types of passes that can get you killed. But he got away with them. Overall, he looked really good. He looked the part. Him and Seth Jones were good out there. A nice start to that. I think he has the fast track to that opening night spot. We got a couple questions here. Do you guys have the rosters for tomorrow's game yet? No, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Group B from what we've been seeing. So Lucas Reichel, Mackenzie Entwistle, Philip Kurashev, who's all over the game presentation, by the way.
He was the first guy on the opening video.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
And how can we watch the game tomorrow? There is no local broadcast, but if you have ESPN Plus, and if you're a hockey fan and don't have it at this point,
get it.
You should have it. It's the greatest value in streaming right now for a hockey fan. I believe you'll be able to watch the ESPN Plus version of the Detroit broadcast, which is what we're going to have to do tomorrow.
Yes.
By the way, in case you missed it, tomorrow's post-game show will not be live. I know we originally told you it would be. It's not going to be. There's just a lot going on with baseball post-games and stuff like that. So we are going to do an audio-only post-game show as soon as the game wraps up. So look for that to hit the feeds about an hour after the game ends tomorrow. Yeah. So we'll still give you some post-game breakdown analysis. It just won't be live, but it will be out late tomorrow night, and it'll be ready for your Thursday morning commutes.
Yeah, exactly right. Want to take a minute, by the way, to just shout out everybody watching.
Yes.
First preseason game, we're seeing a lot of the familiar names we see.
Look at this. I don't think it's a coincidence. According to right here, we've got 67 people in our chat right now. Who's number 67?
Samuel Savoie. Nobody else join. Nobody else leave.
Well, if we get two more people.
I'll take 670, though. Or 6,700.
We don't want 670. They're
never heard of it.
Yeah. We could get two more listeners. That'd be nice.
That'd be fine, too. That'd be really nice.
Everybody would be happy.
Absolutely.
If that's what's going on in the room.
No, but we appreciate everybody being here after a pretty obscure game. So You probably didn't notice this on TV. The entire 300 level was closed.
Yeah.
There was not there was not a single person in the 300 level
DJ
tonight.
Smooth was in the 300 level.
Yes, Mario loved him. Us olds, not so much. He was fine. But, I don't need to hear like a dance mix of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
No, I don't.
It's nothing sacred.
Well, you missed it because before you got there, he did one of his first was a dance version of Semi-Charmed Life by Three Eyed Blind. Somehow they took a really shitty song and made it worse.
Let's see.
Let's take this garbage pop song from the 90s from some fake-ass alternative band and put a Euro beat behind it. Ugh. Awful.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot of fun.
Sorry if there's any Third Eye Blind song fans in the chat. Get some better ears. They're terrible.
But like what you like, just not around
Sure,
us.
just don't play it at the United Center.
Frank Pellico was not there tonight. There was a female organ player.
Yes.
Speaking of the music, I don't recall hearing the organ a ton during the game.
I didn't either.
And someone tweeted me about it, and I started paying attention. I was like, attention, and didn't really notice it after that. So something to keep an eye on as the year goes on. But there was someone sitting there waiting for a cue to play.
There were a couple times where like the organ was started and then it got cut off by the DJ. So I think there was a lack of communication. But just to finish off that thought on the 300 level being closed, they did not. The Blackhawks no longer require season ticket holders to buy the preseason games. Back up until this year, if you were a season ticket holder, you had to buy the preseason games. So you would sell 15,000 tickets off the bat. I had to buy them when I was a season ticket holder. You couldn't give them away.
Yeah.
So they didn't do that, and all seats were $20. Mm-hmm. So they had the 100 level and the 200 level, I would say, was at 80 to 90% capacity. So you still had, I would say you still had over 10,000 people there.
Oh, yeah. I would think more than that even.
Yeah,
I wonder if they have the attendance on the...
So a bigger crowd than I was expecting. 5 minutes before puck drop, it looked really bad. But, yes, we do have 69 in the chat now. That is very nice. And, yes, Frank Pimlico, a fellow alumni of the greatest high school on the planet, St. Patrick's.
10,317.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's, it's a preseason game. More people than I thought were going to be. Hey, $20 to sit anywhere you want.
Yeah.
If you've got kids.
Take the kids, yeah.
If you want to go to a
exactly.
Hawks game.
Yep.
You can.
They don't know.
You could sit 10 rows off the glass for $20 and they could see Patrick Kane play. That we heard kids yelling, "Let's go Kaner," all night long. Those kids were having the time of their life. They don't care it's preseason. So, that's a good advantage. They're going to be there Saturday again, home against the Red Wings. And we'll tell you later the best way to get really cheap tickets.
Yes, we will.
Cheaper than $20, I bet.
We should talk about the goal scorer in this game.
Yes.
Cole Guttman had the lone Blackhawks goal, assisted by Buddy Robinson with a nice pass from behind the net. Cole Guttman, a goal +1, 14:28 of ice time, 4 shots on goal, 1-6, lost 6 faceoffs. That's good for Greg. You want to do the math?
50-50.
You nailed it. So a solid game for him. And as we were sort of talking and trying to project what this team might look like, that's another of these older prospects, 23 years old, played 4 years at Denver, was a Tampa Bay Lightning draft pick, and then became a free agent when they didn't get a deal done with the Lightning, and he chose Chicago out of many other teams. So it's a guy who may have been given a little bit of a, hey, you come here, you're probably going to play pretty quickly. And he has scored in every competitive game the Hawks have played this summer, a goal in each of the Tom Culver's prospects game. No, it's Culver's. And he scored again tonight against the Blues. So he is making his presence known. Again, not real flashy, but is in the right place. That's what Anders Sorensen said about him. Knows where to be, knows how to play the game, reliable, dependable. And as the Hawks are being patient with the prospects who they probably see being part of things 5 years down the road from now, somebody like Gutman is a good candidate for someone to come and fill a spot, add a little bit of offense without, I don't know what his future is in the organization, but he could be a short-term answer for a little more veteran youth, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, when Anders Sorensen was asked about him after the first couple practices at the prospect showcase, he used the phrase "between the dots." That's how he plays the game. He did exactly what needs to do if he's going to want to make this team and stay on this team. He went right to the front of the net. He hit the brakes. Buddy Robinson hit him with a nice pass, and he finished. And that's what that is his game right there.
All right, Mario is set to join us, but first, we got to tell you about our friends at Green Ridge Farm. They're my friends because I like meat. I'm a big fan of meat. You're from Chicago. Chances are you like meat. Green Ridge Farm is from Chicago, too. They're a meat and cheese company offering you a better, all-natural option. If you go to your local Jewels, you go to your Costco's, you're going to see the Green Ridge Farm in the deli counter, all over the store. But what they really want you to know about are the beef sticks. And let me tell you, these things are phenomenal. I just got myself a bunch more after we had a ton of them here. Got some at the Costco. Absolutely outstanding. They're perfect for tailgating, happy hour, school lunches, all those things. They're all natural, hardwood smoked for 8 hours. 16 grams of protein per stick. So if you're someone that works out, like me,
There's only one guy at Studio B that works out on a regular basis, and he's behind the camera.
Yes, that makes a perfect post-workout snack for people like Steven. The meat sticks come in chicken, black forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno cheddar, that's the goat, and the spicy chili. If you haven't tried them yet, you don't know what you're missing. And here's a great deal from Green Ridge Farm. Go to greenridgefarm.com. Add any 3 meat products to your cart, and then add the meat sticks. The meat sticks will be free. So order 3 meat products, add those meat sticks, and the meat sticks will be free if you use the code CHGO at checkout. They're awesome. I cannot vouch for them more. You will love them. Green Ridge Farm, simply natural meat.
And we're just talking about taking your kids to a cheap Blackhawks preseason game. Best way to get those tickets, we mentioned they were $20. I can guarantee you're going to get them for under $20 if you go visit our friends over at Game Time.
Yep.
The Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to your favorite games, concerts, shows. You want to get the best seats available and save a ton of cash? You're not going to find a better deal on Blackhawks tickets this season, starting as early as Saturday night against the hated Red Wings. Check out our friends at Game Time. It's created by the fans. It's for the fans, and it guarantees the lowest price. If you buy tickets on Game Time and then you go on one of the other marketplace, secondary market sites, and you find a ticket in the same area for cheaper, let them know, and they'll take care of that for you. Their customer service is fantastic. They will make sure you get the best price.
Herb Lawrence from the Sox, CHGO White Sox, he had the same thing happen. Found cheaper tickets after he purchased. They gave him 110% of his money back.
That's amazing. Like, you can't beat that. That's how you keep customers coming back.
If you want to go to Detroit tomorrow night to watch the Hawks and Wings, $3 tickets on Game Time. That's 300% more than White Sox tickets.
Yes. They were for $1 the other day. So we're not ripping on them. We're just stating facts.
I am.
Well, yeah, but it's all. But you're also
bastards.
stating facts. But so yeah, if you love CHGO, then you will definitely love Game Time. It's the best way and the very best way to support us is by, if you're watching YouTube, first smash the like button, and you scroll right below that, you're going to see a link for Game Time right there. You're going to also see that link in all the descriptions wherever you get your podcasts. Click on that link; it will take you to the app.
Yep.
You buy your tickets there. And you're going to help us over at CHGO as well as helping yourself to the best deal in sports tickets.
Yes. Do that. Get in the habit. When you are looking for tickets anywhere, go to our podcast descriptions and click that Game Time link. That helps us out big time. All right, let's go to the United Center. Mario is with us from the press box. What's up, Mario? What do we learn today post Blackhawks game?
Hey guys, I thought I'd do my best Kevin Weeks impression here.
You look like Dick Butkus on Twitter.
Yeah. You need me to do a TikTok? Nah, here. We'll be serious here for
I thought you were trying to emerge from the pipe like Mario because of the
yes.
See, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
but Mario, please be serious. This is preseason game one of a 75-point season.
Shake it off. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, first preseason game. Felt like a preseason game. A lot of kinks to work out for the Blackhawks, and Luke Richardson said as much after the game. Obviously, going 0 for 3 on the penalty kill is not ideal, even in a season in which you're expecting the Blackhawks to not be that good. You still got to kill some penalties. But yeah, I mean, as far as what you wanted to see in the preseason opener, I think there was enough there, despite the 4-1 loss, that the Blackhawks could take away some good things. Luke Richardson talked about in the pregame, throughout training camp, he's been showing film of the final between the Avalanche and the Lightning because that's the kind of hockey that he wants the team to emulate. And he said pregame he wanted to get to a point where now we can have some good clips that we can show of us playing, of the Blackhawks playing and doing the right things, or providing teachable moments. And I think tonight they were able to get both of those things. A lot of teachable moments, obviously in a 4-1 loss in which you give up 3 power play goals, but also some good things too. There were a couple players that stood out and had some good games. And I think it's game 1 of 6 in the preseason. And for what we're looking for from the Blackhawks this year, I think we got pretty much enough to say, yeah, it's a loss, but there are some things there that you can build upon.
And we were saying, as we started the show, that a game like today is kind of the ideal outcome for the Blackhawks this season, is a competitive and encouraging loss. And I think that's what we saw in this game. I want to ask you, Mario, specifically, was there anyone, because we didn't get to this yet on the show, was there anyone that stood out to you in a negative way that you thought would show a little bit more, or the performance was a little subpar in your mind? The only guy I mentioned to Greg, because he could hear me, because it was the three of us side by side. I couldn't hear you. You could barely hear me. But I was hoping to see a little more from Michael Tepley in this game. That's a guy who I think's got a shot of making the team. Had one real good chance. Showed off that quick release he's got. But I was hoping to see a little bit more from him. Anyone that you saw that maybe you were hoping for more from, be it veteran or kid?
I think there were a few moments where I would have liked to see some sharper play from a guy like Taylor Radish. There were one or two moments especially on I think there was a power play or two where Radish was in the middle role, that bumper role in the middle there in the 3-1 the 1-3-1 setup where he had a puck on his stick in that position and wasn't able to get it off or wasn't able to corral it cleanly. I think if he's going to be in that position, if he's going to be one of these players that has an opportunity to play on the power play, to play in the top six, whether it's a preseason or regular season, we saw him in those kinds of roles at the end of last year. If he's a player that's going to be in the mix for a position like that, you got to be able to make the most of your opportunities, even in the preseason. We've talked about it all summer, and especially through this first week of training camp. Barely anybody has a roster spot locked up on this team, and the lineup is far from set. So, a player like Taylor Radish, I think you want to make the most of those kinds of chances because you don't want to be lost in the fold and lose out on an opportunity to play with Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane or Max Domi, Andreas Athanasiou, like these players that are, the higher end players of this team. You want to be able to play with them to not only elevate your game, but also, be able to stick with this lineup and not get lost in the shuffle over the next year or two where, there's probably going to be an influx of players coming in the next few seasons. So, yeah, Taylor Radish would be one that I would say I would have liked to have seen something a little bit.
Yeah, a couple times got the puck in the slot there and just was like, let me take my time and corral and shoot it.
Yeah, and
preseason game one.
Yeah, of course.
Just a half second too slow with the, with the decision making. I mean, if we're nitpicking in game one of the preseason, that's one thing.
Yeah, of course.
There were a couple plays though along the boards where he was separated from the puck a little too easy than I wanted to see for a guy with that size. There were a couple plays where he got involved in a board battle and then just gave up possession quickly.
Yeah.
That could be a preseason thing, but man, you can't be taking shifts off. You got to be able to use that size to your advantage. And if you're not doing it in a preseason game when a possible roster spot is at stake, then when are you going to do it?
Yeah, I hope that he is not assuming he's got a spot because he played well.
Because if he is, he's not going to have one.
Yeah, I mean, look, you talk about the Gutmans and the Tepleys and the Buddy Robinson, who, aside from not really jumping in when Colin Blackwell was being murdered on the ice.
That was my only downer. That really disappointed me. And I'm not the rah-rah punch guy in the face guy, but Buddy Robinson is the biggest dude on the ice. When we were talking to Arvid Soderblom yesterday in the locker room after practice, he sat down next to him, and we thought he was another goaltender. That's how freaking big this guy is, but he's not. And Colin Blackwell, all 5'9", 180 pounds of him, is hitting the boards twice. Jordan Kyrou put him in from behind, and he gets up to go after him, and a scrum starts, and Buddy Robinson's just kind of standing there. I'm like, you're the biggest guy on the ice. Stick up for your teammate. Other than that, he played a really effective game.
Yeah, 5 shots on goal.
He had the primary assist on the own goal, made that pass to Gutman out in front of that. Looked good, but, dude, when your little buddy's getting bashed into the wall, maybe go help him.
Yeah, seems like a reasonable request.
I had to collect myself from the little buddy comment for Buddy Robinson, but yeah, exactly. You would have liked to have seen the guy who's about 6'6" and 200 plus pounds be able to jump in there. Even for Blackwell and Robinson, these are two guys that are new to the Blackhawks, new to being teammates. You still want to jump in and be able to stick up for a guy who you're competing with and you're battling alongside for. So yeah, I mean that's one thing that you would have liked to see for a guy who's quite frankly on the bubble of being an AHL or an NHL player. So yeah, you got the primary assist, but with an opportunity to do a little bit more, sometimes you got to take it.
Who else stood out to you?
Well, I'm sure you guys have already talked about Samuel Savoie, but he definitely made an impact in the time that he did play. I'm finishing up writing about the 3 takeaways the Hawks hits from today's game, but Savoie is one of them, and I really think we throw around the next Andrew Shaw comparison pretty loosely in Blackhawks land. I know it was Ryan Hartman, it was Brandon Hagel, it was who else? Evan Barrett. I think Landon Slagert's had those comparisons too at different times. But honestly, looking at how those guys play and then looking at the play of Savoie and his personality, I think that's a big thing where it comes down, because a lot of guys can play physical, can play aggressive, but you look at Savoie and how he carries himself on and off the ice, and it just seems like he really does have that personality where half of his game is just talking and getting under the skin of the opponent, and making sure that, hey, even if you go into the corner with me and you come out with the puck, I'm still going to finish my check, and I'm still going to make sure that that you and I are going to be seeing each other a lot this game. That's something that you cannot teach, and that's something that I think he brings to the table that as a young player can help him in his development and in his path to the NHL. Skill and talent can develop, but you can't fake a guy being able to be an aggressor like that. So I think that stood out a little bit. That's one of the things I wanted to see specifically from him. And you can do it in prospect camp, you can do it in a prospect showcase game against other 19-year-olds. But when you get into an NHL preseason game against some NHL competition and are still able to do it, not afraid to do it, that's a big thing. And I think the chemistry of the other thing that stood out to me was the chemistry of the Athanasiou, Domi, and Kane line. I know we spoke about it a couple days ago when that was basically put out by Luke Richardson that was going to be a combination. We talked about how, well, it's a great offensive trio, but anytime the puck is not on their stick, it's going to be a defensive problem. But if you watch this game, they had a lot of possession with the puck. They created a lot of chances. I think the majority of the major scoring chances came from that trio offensively, and Andreas Athanasiou's speed was something that was a big factor. And it could have been a bigger factor if the penalty kill had been a little bit more effective tonight, as Luke Richardson said that they were looking to try Athanasiou on the penalty kill and use his speed as a factor in killing penalties and being on the forecheck. Really seems like Richardson wants to have I think the term that's being coined now in the NHL is a power kill, where you can be effective as a penalty kill unit, not just stopping the opposing power play, but also being a threat to score shorthanded. And I think we might see Athanasiou get some more chances, some more opportunity on the penalty kill to use his speed. But that trio was pretty good offensively, and for the first time for the three of them playing together, I think that they were pretty effective. Might see that more often through the preseason and even into the regular season as well.
Curious what the mood of the room was like after the game. I know it's the first time we've had open locker room in years. So was it, I don't know, how was it in there? Was it quiet? Was it lively? What was the mood like?
It was bare. if I'm being honest, we walked into the room and I think 3 players were at their stalls. It was pretty fairly cleaned out. They play in Detroit tomorrow. Yeah. So it's a quick turnaround. I think most of the guys that played tonight will not be playing tomorrow. I think we're going to see the Group B team tomorrow. Luke Richardson did say a few players are going to play in tomorrow's game that played tonight, but he didn't specify who. But yeah, it was wrapped up pretty quickly. Colin Blackwell spoke a little bit to open the room. Again, he kind of talked about how the penalty kill needed to be a little bit more effective, and how that third period was they were holding the momentum, and then they take a penalty, can't kill it off, allow the power play goal, and they weren't able to turn it around from there. He spoke about that. Kevin Korchinski was in the room as well. He spoke about his first opportunity to play in the NHL and getting used to the pace of the game. And I think he had a pretty effective game. There was one breakdown that led to a goal that he was on the ice for, but outside of that, 19 minutes of ice time in his first pseudo taste of the NHL. I think his speed and his poise with the puck was pretty evident. He was a little tentative trying to get shots off. Luke Richardson spoke before the game that he wanted Korchinski to be a bit more shoot first than pass first, but he's going to take time. He's 18 years old, getting his first taste in the NHL. But I think a lot of the tools that made him the 7th overall pick in this year's draft are starting to show through as we're getting to actual game action here.
We were joking during the game that the Hawks should put a picture of Kirby Doc in a Canadiens jersey in the locker room and say, "Failure to shoot gets you traded." Because we saw a lot of, again, these young guys deferring to the veterans, which it's natural. I get it. But yeah, Korchinski passed up a bunch of chances. I think Del Mastro passed up 2 or 3 chances he had to shoot just to kind of defer over to like Caleb Jones or whoever. It's like, it's Caleb Jones. Shoot it.
Yeah.
But they'll get there. And I with someone like Richardson in their ear about it, look, if the coach approves, then who else's approval do you need, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, so we get to our 4th stars of the game for the first time this season.
The tradition is back.
It's back, baby. So the 3 stars of the game, as elected by Chicago media. Number 1 star, Ryan O'Reilly. Number 2 star, Justin Falk. Number 3 star, Blackhawks legend Cole Guttman.
Attaboy, Cole.
There's your 3 stars. So do I have to start again? God bless it. All right. Because I won't get a chance to do this for at least another year, my 4th star of the game, Sam Savoie, my guy. And as Chicago comes around, I just want everyone to remember who had him first. That is all.
My 4th.
Greg's annoyed grumble. It's just a great.
Okay.
You're fine. Like when Sideshow Bob kept getting hit by the rakes.
I like that pick because I knew before even walking to United Center that I didn't have to worry about picking him.
I said to Greg, how dare you assume exactly what I'm going to do?
Yeah, so my pick, I'm going to go with Colin Blackwell. He was very impressive in his first go-around in a Blackhawks uniform. I'm going to add the caveat, those 2 penalties. You got to clean that up a little bit. He's going to be one of the team's best penalty killers this year. And
First one was
but still. But, stay out of the box. You're the best penalty killer they have, one of the best. And it's hard to kill the penalties when you're watching from the penalty box.
Correct.
Otherwise, dude is
Usually.
ball of energy. He charged the net one play and made contact with Jordan Binnington. The net came off the Mornings, and I tweeted out, well, Colin Blackwell better be on the lookout for a water bottle flying at his head after the game. So, because Jordan Binnington's diaper gets full on a regular basis. But I like Colin Blackwell. I like what I saw. I think he's going to be one of those players this year where you're just going to be like, I appreciate what he does. He's not a superstar, but you can appreciate what he brings to the team, and he showed us a little bit of that tonight.
Yeah, he made a lot of fans in Toronto. I think he's probably going to make a lot of fans in Chicago as well. My 4th star of the night is a guy I just recently mentioned, Kevin Korchinski. I think he was kind of the young star of the day. A lot of eyes on him, as well there should be. He's the first draft pick of the Kyle Davidson era. Not saying the rebuild hinges on him, but he's an important part of it. And tonight, like I said, just over 19 minutes of ice time. Played pretty well with Connor Murphy and used his speed to his advantage. That's one of the best things that he has in his toolkit right now is his speed with and without the puck. We focus a lot on his offensive skills and his offensive abilities to jump into the play and use his speed to create out of transition. But he also uses it really well to be on the defensive side of transitions and catch up to plays when he does jump into the offense and the puck goes the other way. He's able to make up that ground and get back into positioning. I see some people in the comments saying, who does this game remind you of? And when we talked with I believe it was either Scott Wheeler or Corey Prom, and one of the two of them, might have been Wheeler, but he compared him to a guy like Roman Josi, and that
Yes, please.
That'll do.
That's good. That's a Norris winner. There's definitely a lot of physical maturity that will have to come along with him, just with time. He's a bigger guy, but he's very slim at this point in his development. Again, 18 years old. He just turned 18 before the draft, so he was one of the youngest players in the draft class. So there's a lot of time for him to kind of grow into a more NHL ready body, whereas another guy like Ethan Del Mastro is kind of ahead of him in that regard. But I think once Kevin physically matures a little bit, that's going to also help his game. With that physical maturity will come a lot more strength in his shot, just in his legs, in his skating ability. It's going to get even better. I think he was pretty crisp with a few passes today. So it was just a lot of good things that you wanted to see out of probably the most high profile young player that was in the lineup tonight.
All right, so far today, Mario, in the chat and from you, we've got Roman Josi, Cale Makar, and Rob Blake.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no pressure, Kevin. No pressure at all. Just be a combination of those three, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, just win a Norris, and we'll get off your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right, buddy, we're gonna let you go home, get some sleep before the big Detroit game tomorrow. Thanks for jumping on, man. It's great to be back here.
Excited.
And great. It sounds great, by the way. Looks good. Sounds good. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, our chin and neck on the logo, the paint job down there,
It pops, man.
looks beautiful.
I have never seen the chin and neck on the Warrior head on the ice ever look as good as it does.
Yeah.
Greatest chin in all of hockey right now.
And if you look closely, you can see
Luke
Mario's CHGO ever so slightly.
Yeah,
On the neck
So if
area.
anyone trips over that, you'll know who to blame or who to praise.
Exactly. All right, buddy. We'll see you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.
All right, see you guys tomorrow.
All right, that is
Safe,
Mario
Mario.
Tirabassi from the United Center. If you jumped in late, a little programming note. The Hawks game tomorrow is only available on ESPN Plus. It will be the Red Wings broadcast. The Hawks broadcast will be on radio if you want to do that. And we will be audio only post game. So hour 15 after the final horn, you'll have a fresh podcast in your feed. No live video tomorrow. Audio only due to studio space limitations. So
maybe if like the game is a real stinker, like it goes from 1-1 to 4-1, maybe we could start recording like with 3 minutes to go in the game.
I have no problem with that.
Like heck, if it's like a 7-0 blowout, let's record it in the second intermission.
I have no
Yeah.
issue with that whatsoever.
So yeah,
That
it will
sounds
be
wonderful.
somewhat after
Yeah.
the game, but there will not be that. There will not. I'm going to go on the record and say, unless there's like a terrible snowstorm, that will probably be one of the only audio only post game shows this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
The bread and butter here is the live post game shows. So it's just with no TV broadcasts and our baseball teams needing the studio time, we'll take a back seat for a preseason non-televised game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to talk up to a game to people live that didn't get a chance to watch it.
Oh, no roids, just rage brings up a point in the chat. Dominic Kubalik scored twice in the Red Wings game. I'm doing this preseason game 1. We will not do revisionist history on Dominic Kubalik. None of y'all were mad when he left.
Right.
Nobody.
Nope.
Nobody was mad. Dylan Strome, different story. Nobody was upset that Dominic Kubalik left, so don't start this now. All right. All right.
Him and Pius Suter can go and put up 25 points apiece.
Exactly. So, Greg, before I came out here today, I had some errands to run. Went out to Orland Park, and I was in Dick's Sporting Goods, and I was perusing. I'm trying to find stuff I can wear to the rink that's like warm, but not too warm. So I'm up there with like the North Face and all that stuff. I'm looking at like the golf clothing, and it's so effing boring. It's like the most uninspiring, boring, bland-looking clothing you can find? Well, enter Pins and Aces. They are the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. Their golf gear is so cool. It's so different. It's so unique. You've got to check it out. Pinsandaces.com. Use the promo code CHGO. You're going to get 15% off your first order and free shipping. But it's not just golf pants, golf shirts. They're family owned. The polos, the hats, the golf bags are great. They've got in their golf bags the beer sleeve. It holds 7 beers.
One more than 6.
Yes, that's not your traditional golf gear. If you want to stand out on the golf course, you want to look dab in front of all your friends, you got to go to pinsandaces.com. Stop going to these sporting goods stores and like, I'll have a plain navy blue polo shirt and I'll wear gray pants. And that is the limits to my expression. Look at the guy next to me.
That's undab.
That is how you express yourself on a daily basis, right? Some pizzazz, some color, some cool designs. Pins and Aces is the place to go. Check out pinsandaces.com. Again, the promo code CHGO gives you 15% off your first order and free shipping. Pinsandaces.com.
You know what else wasn't boring? Our awesome CHGO tailgate we had on Sunday. That was a ton of fun. We had over 200 of our listeners join us, and we're going to be doing those again. But if you were there and you got to play some cornhole or some bags, however you want to call it, we had our 2 sets of awesome cornhole sets there with the CHGO logo on them. We got those from our friends at Chi-Town Cornhole. Chi-Town Custom Cornhole, the #1 cornhole provider for Chicagoland and Illinois since 2007. That's a long time ago. Our signature box...
Before Mario was born.
Probably. They're Steven, too. The signature box style design can be digitally printed, covered in vinyl, and painted. Their cornhole boards come in with, look at these amazing filters, built-in drink holders.
Yes.
That are recessed on the back, LEDs that light up the hole in case you're having problems finding the hole in the dark. They got that covered. Plus exterior handles for easy carrying, handcrafted scorekeeping, like a little abacus on the back of the box so you can keep score too. It's got it all. Most importantly, Chi-Town Cornhole, they are veteran owned and operated. They can ship anywhere. Also offers local pickups, specializing in corporate designs for your company's next marketing or social event, wedding gifts, and gifts for all occasions. You don't have to get married to give a gift these days, and especially for tailgaters and backyard barbecues. That's Chi-Town Cornhole. Give them a call. Go check them out online. Get your next set of boxes from our buddies at Chi-Town Cornhole.
They are sweet. They are really great.
Best set I've ever seen.
They look awesome.
They are so cool. If I was in the market to buy some, they would be the first people I'm calling.
You may have seen recently on Cubs broadcast the 100-year-old Cub fan that threw out the first pitch with Tom Dreesen. Yes. That is my wife's grandmother. She is
the reason you weren't here for the first 2 weeks.
Correct. 100 years old and still the best bags/cornhole player I know. And she is so particular about bag sets. Like, they have to be a certain grade. The bag's got to be right, the right weight. I'm going to get her a Cubbies Chi-Town Cornhole set for her 101st birthday because they're beautiful. They're absolutely perfect. So get yourself some. They're great. All right. We're done, buddy. First post-game show is in the books.
1 down and
87 to go. Plus playoffs.
87 to go.
Exactly. All right. So tomorrow night, one final reminder. ESPN Plus is the only place to see the game. You can listen, of course, on WGN Radio if you want to. We will be a audio-only podcast tomorrow night, so look for it about an hour after the game. But we'll be participating. I'll probably jump on the Discord during the game. So if you're a member at allchgo.com, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you're not, make sure you become one. Get yourself some sweet CHGO merch. Become a member. Get all of our great written content, all that good stuff at allchgo.com. That gets you access to our Discord too. So I'll be chatting in the Discord throughout the game. We're back at it tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the guys we didn't see tonight. Sam Lafferty.
I want to see Lucas
Reichel, of
Reichel
course.
dominate.
Yes, that's what I want to see. And if I have one little complaint about him being part of Group B, I really want to see him with elite players.
Yeah.
And he's not going to have that chance with Group B. Now, as the roster reduces
he'll
later in
get
the
that
preseason,
chance,
he will. But it would be really great to see him dominate tomorrow night. But there's a lot of guys I'll have my eye on. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Blackhawks legend Sam Lafferty
That's right.
at center.
Good old number 24.
Number 24.
Take that, Doug Wilson and Bob Probert.
Number 24 in your program, but number 1 in our hearts.
That's right. All right. Thanks to Steven for producing the show this evening. For Greg and Mario, who is driving home, I'm Jay. Thanks for listening to the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.